What's up, guys? Brian here with Team Blind MST. John got 36th place at at our last regional, which was like 3 weeks ago, but we had trouble uploading, so this is like extremely delayed, but we go with it.
Sorry, guys. All right, yeah. The regional went all right. I had two really stupid losses that I shouldn't have had. I don't know. I took 36, kind of scrubbed out at the end, but it's whatever. So here's the build. I'm not really gonna change the main deck at all for the time being. I really actually like this build of the main deck. I took this build also to this big tournament by our house. The store's like an hour and a half away. It was like their third birthday or whatever. So they had this.
It's on the mat.
They had this tournament. Yeah, this is where the mat's from. I just won it there. Top four got these. I took second. My only loss was to the person that went undefeated.
What did that guy run?
He ran. I don't even. It was like some Frankenstein, Fire Fist, Fire King artifacts. I don't know. That was just. I have a very bad habit of opening up like triple Vanity's Emptiness, and then like nothing real, and I just get poked to death. Like I ended up losing because the guy poked me to death with Bear 5 times. That's how I lost. That's why I didn't go undefeated. Cards too strong.
Fucking real.
Anyways, guys, so here's the build. I run Triple Dragon. This is the only Shaddoll monster that I main deck run triple of. It's in my opinion, it's by far the best one. It's an MST. It bounces a card. It's a 1900 beat stick. Like can't have too many of these. I run 2 Beasts. I don't like running 3 Beasts. I don't believe that sending Beast is always the proper answer, like a lot of people do. Sometimes I would rather just send Hedgehog and search the card I need. But this is still one of your best ways to gain advantage, especially with Shadow games. 2 Hedgehog, need it at 2, wouldn't run it at 1, wouldn't run it I think it'd be cloggy at 3. You need to get to Shaddoll Fusion, but you only need to get to the first Shaddoll Fusion. And then it's always nice but it's still nice to, after you use the first one, have the second one so you can send it and search one of the monsters you need. 2 Lizard. Don't run 3 anymore because I used to run 3 because I would just use it to thin out the deck. I would always send it before sending another one, but then I just don't have room in the deck, quite honestly. Like, the deck's very tight. So I found 2 was a really good number. It's also, like Dragon, it's a really good card just by itself. It's an 1800 beat stick, and if I open just complete brick and I have to pick one of the monsters to open with, I'd always want to open with Lizard, especially if I don't know what I'm playing against. Because if they, like, pop it somehow, I can send anyone I want from the deck, and then if they attack into it, I can destroy their monster. And it's still an 1800 beat stick, so it's pretty good.
Why don't you play 3? I didn't hear you.
There's just not enough room in the deck, honestly. Like, when it came time to start cutting stuff, and I was cutting the one-ofs, and I was... Ooh, sorry.
Bless you.
I had to start cutting MSTs, and, like, I really just did not have the room, and like I can't bring myself to cut it down more than 2 because it's still really good, and it's a good way to. I run core, so I need to always have one to send off of like an Armageddon Knight to send a core and add a fusion back if I have to, and then I run 2 Falco. I wouldn't run it at 3. It's not always that good, but it's sometimes your best play really is like opening Armageddon Knight and Shadow games. Or, I mean, I guess if you run... I run Armageddon Knight. Once we get the new support, I'll run Mathematician. But sometimes I like making first turn Winda using my Armageddon Knight. So that's why I personally do not run Mathematician. Plus, I like the fact that Armageddon Knight is a 4, whereas Mathematician is a 3. So that's that. But the best play really is like Armageddon Knight, send Lizard, send Falco. Falco special summons them back, set Shadow games. Your opponent takes their turn. Ideally, you have something to disrupt their play. They go to their aim phase. You flip Shadow games. You send Beast. You draw a card. You flip Falco. You special summon Beast back. On your turn, you draw a card for your turn. Then you flip Beast. You draw 2 more cards and discard 1. It's absolutely disgusting. So Falco's really good for that. He's also the only tuner in the deck, and I run more Synchro monsters, actually, than pretty much anything, because the Synchro plays with this deck are really fun to do, and I don't play this game to be the most competitive person. I have a lot of fun with this deck, actually. That's why I'm kind of excited for the new support, is because I'm getting kind of bored of this. I feel like I found pretty much every clever play I can find with this deck, so really excited for the new support. So that's all the Shaddoll monsters. Then the other 2 Dark monsters I run are, of course, 2 Armageddon Knights. It's really good to open up with. Like I said, that and a Shadow Games is pretty much your best 2 cards to open with. Then I run the Artifact still. The Artifact engine I like a lot because it gives you an out to a lot of the things that Shadolls have a hard time beating, like Floodgates. Like it's a good out to Shadow Mirror. A lot of times it wins you games sometimes when people just aren't expecting it and just start popping your back row, like in the mirror match when people send dragons or someone doesn't know what you're playing yet, especially if someone hasn't seen these yet. And it lets me have another trap in my deck that can disrupt their monster plays, which is some things that are kind of few and far between. It's just, I like them a lot. I like them better than all the other lights that you can mix in with Shadolls at the moment. So
that Marin dog.
Yeah.
Thing.
And then the other two lights I run for the last 10 monsters, one Thunder King, one BLS. BLS is just steals games. We'll always run them if I'm running lights and darks. This card, I was running one Beagletalk, and I was running one Beagletalk and two Ignitions, along with the rest of the artifact engine, and I decided at the last moment to replace the Beagletalk with Thunder King and the Ignitions with Trap Stun. Could not have been more pleased with that decision. Opening up a Thunder King, a Sanctum, a Shadow Games, and a Vanity's Emptiness is pretty much a game no matter who you're playing against, and I run 3 of all those other cards, so it's not that unheard of.
What did you say opening up?
Thunder King, Vanities, Sanctum, and Shadow Games.
Okay,
just absolutely disgusting. But yeah, this card is really good. This card won me some games against a few games at the regional and at this tournament, where I just opened up real back row and a Thunder King, and I was like this one game against Noble Knights. I opened up Thunder King. He opened 2 Rotas. Like, he's just super salty. Card's amazing. Absolutely love Thunder King. Wish he was at more than 1. That's it for the monsters. Moving on to the spells. I run triple Shaddoll Fusion because, well, we don't have El Shaddoll Fusion. That's pretty much it. 1 Super Poly because I'm only allowed to run 1 Super Poly.
What do you think of Shaddoll Fusion, real quick?
I like Shaddoll Fusion, but I have a very bad habit of drawing into all 3 of them. Like, I don't know why, but Shaddoll Fusion and Vanity's Emptiness just stick together in my deck. No matter how hard I try to separate them before I shuffle or pile shuffling, I always end up with just tons of copies of these. But like I said, at the moment, we have no choice. We have to run 3 Shaddoll Fusions. So, unless I want to run a Polymerozation, but...
You ever side them out?
I side out 1 sometimes, but that's pretty much it.
You ever side them out against me?
I side 1 out against you sometimes. I side 1 out if I need like real side deck options, and I know my opponent's not going to be going into the extra deck a lot. I also side 1 out in the mirror match, actually, because most of the times good Shaddoll players don't leave their fusions on board unless they're certain that they have control of the game, again in the mirror. But as soon as El Shaddoll Fusion comes out, one of these is definitely getting cut, and 3 El Shaddoll Fusions are coming in. Card just nets you a ton of advantage when it goes off, but it's not always. Against good players, you're less likely to plus off of it. And then I run Foolish Burial because I don't understand why you wouldn't. Book of Moon, Allure of Darkness, and 1 Soul Charge. Soul Charge can steal games. It can also be extremely dead. It's whatever. It's the price you pay when you run it. Book of Moon is still one of my Book of Moon and Thunder King are honestly tied for my favorite cards of all time. This is by far the best -1 in the game, in my opinion.
You're cutting Book, though.
Unfortunately, I will be cutting Book on the new build, but that's just because, like I said, there is no room in this build. I'm actually also cutting Allure of Darkness. I always side out Allure of Darkness almost. I really kind of don't like it at all because I always end up banishing things that I really don't want to banish, like Beast. It's essentially just like, it's a 2 for 2, so it really doesn't even net you that much advantage. But I guess if you're already generating advantage and you need to get to something specific, it helps you dig. So that's why it's in there. It's getting cut as soon as the new support comes out again. Like, really what's getting cut is 1 El Shaddoll Fusion, a Book of Moon, Allure of Darkness, the Armageddon Knights, and I'm running, well, you guys will see that when the new support comes out. But yeah, so those are on the chopping block. Onto the traps. I run double Trap Stun. Absolutely love this card. I know this deck has like some scary OTK potential sometimes, especially with BLS. So being able to flip Trap Stun in my standby phase and then just push for game is amazing. Also, I have a really hard matchup against Burning Abyss. Or let me rephrase it. I have a really hard matchup against Phoenix Wing Wind Blast. So having Trap Stun for Dante.Phoenix Wing is just, I need it. It's better than MST. I side the 3 MSTs, but that's why I chose to main deck the Trap Stuns. Very happy with that decision, by the way.
Are you going to main deck 3 MST?
I will be main decking 3 MST when the next set comes out. And I will still be running 2 Trap Stuns, actually. Then I have 3 Sanctums. Obviously, because I run Moralltach. 3 Sinister Shadow Games. Best card to open with. Card's really unfair. The fact that your opponent can't really stop the monster you send, like they can't even debunk it because it misses timing because your card is flipping up simultaneously, and then the The flip effect activates. It's really safe. It's very hard. It's almost impossible to go neg with this card. It's chainable. You can use it to setting Dragon, Falco, or Lizard, and then setting this card, and then passing turn to your opponent is nasty because either Dragon or Falco, or Dragon or Lizard, you're really going to upset their play, or with Falco you can do the whole send Beast, draw, special summon Beast, and set up for next turn. It's just gross. And then triple Emptiness because 49 out of 50 people in a room who are trying to play serious Yu-Gi-Oh! Will be running 3 of these in their deck. It's just an amazing card. It's Sorry about that, guys. My phone ran out of memory and it kind of stopped recording, so we're going to just put these videos together. But anyways, I was talking about Emptiness, I believe. Card's amazing. Going to keep running it at 3, even especially when the new shit comes out. And then I run 1 Core, 1 Warning, and 1 Compulse. Core is going to be even more crucial once the new support comes out because it's your only way to go into a Crystal. And it also makes Star Eater really live. And once I'm running Glow Up Bulb, it'll also make Leo a lot easier. So it's amazing. And
so you have stars or something?
Level 9.
Oh my god.
Yep. And then I run 1 Warning. I was thinking about cutting this for the longest time, but every time I say that, it wins, literally just steals a game from me, or like completely seals it the next time I go play real Yu-Gi-Oh! So it's earned its place. It's staying there. It's Solemn Warning. Well, I don't know why I even think about taking it out. And then Compulse is amazing. Not running Bottomless or Torrential right now because I just don't think they're very good. At the moment, I mean, Bottomless is god-awful. Torrential, I guess, could be a worthy side deck card against, like, Mermails or just some random things like that. But once Pendulums comes out, again, that'll change, and I'll be running probably both of those again. Yeah, so that's it for the main deck. That's 40 cards. Not changing too much until, I guess, like a week from today when the sneak peek for the new set. But, yeah, so I'm in the extra deck. I only run 2 Windas and 2 Constructs right now. Basically, this is the only real change from this is I used to run 3 Constructs, never ran 2 Windas. I don't like using these just, like, blatantly, like, just, like, free will, whatever. I like using them strategically. I was never one to just, like, be like, oh, I'm running Evil Swarm, so I just always make Ophion. Like, I like making other plays with the deck. Plus, I'm only going to run 2 of each of these once the new support comes out, and then I'll run 1 of each of the other fusions. So I was kind of also preparing myself for that. I've never really run into a situation since dropping the 3rd construct where I'm like, damn, I really wish I had the 3rd construct. But, yeah, so 2 and 2. I like it. It's a good count. That's it for the fusion monsters. I run 4 fusions, and I run 5 synchros. I run a Star Eater because Falco and Roots make Star Eater. It's actually pretty relevant. I took it out, and then I realized missing it. It lets me push for game a lot in periods of time where I otherwise wouldn't. A lot of times people aren't expecting that 3200 to come through, especially if you're in the grind game. If I'm in the grind game and I have a core set, like, Star Eater steals games, because then it's just, whenever I get to Falco, I'm gonna push. Nobody's ever expecting it. Like, it just catches them so off guard. Leo, amazing card, probably one of my favorite cards in the extra deck. A lot of decks can't get over it, and when they do get over it, they usually have to overextend to get over it. They also a lot of times have to go into their extra deck, which then makes Shaddoll Fusion, which is sometimes dead, much liver. Just amazing. I would make a Leo every turn if I could. And then I run Arcanite Magician and Micheal. Micheal is only runnable if you run the artifacts. He's amazing, especially in the mirror match. Also against Dante, just the ability to just banish a card. And he also, I mean, the milling sometimes works in your favor. It usually doesn't hurt me too much. But really, that just instant spot removal banish is just phenomenal. And then, of course, Arcanite Magician, just blow up back row, blow up monsters, clear the field. A lot of times on those turns where I just trap stun, at the end of the turn, I'll try to make an Arcanite Magician and blow up everything I had trap stun just so it's not an issue in the future. And then I run, of course, 1 Goyo. It's really easy to make Falco and any of the 4s. Also steals games. It makes me sad that a lot of people are running Arcanite or Mathematician instead of Armageddon Knight, because before, when just everyone was just running Armageddon Knights, I would always Goyo their Armageddon Knight and get the effect off.
What are you going to change the synchros when you run Mathematician instead?
I'm going to run pretty much the only thing that's going to change in the synchros is I'll run an Armades. I'm also trying to actually fit in an Armory Arm, too, because the Mathematician Gold Ball plays become really real sometimes, and Winda with an Armory Arm is actually pretty scary. And then for the For the XYZs, I run 6 now. This isn't really... This extra deck actually kind of has some room in it, especially since I'm not running the 2 fusions right now. So there's probably, if anything getting cut, it's definitely coming from the Exceeds. But I run 1 Exciton because I feel that whenever, even though I barely ever make him, I know as soon as I take him out, I'm going to run into that situation where it's like, damn, I could have won this game if I had an Exciton. And plus, it's really hard for Shadolls to lose advantage. So this really isn't a good card in the deck at all. I just personally know that I will get shafted if I take it out. So that's why I don't. Then I run 2 Castels. Card's amazing. Spin back Floodgates, spin back Dante's, spin back Deltaros, spin back Shaddoll Fusions. Like, just card's absolutely amazing. And then I run 1 Daigusto Emeral. During late game, there's a lot of times where I'll have like all the Shaddoll Fusions in the world, but I literally run out of monsters in the deck, or like I'll burn through my Moralltach because I'm pitching him to summon like the 2nd and 3rd construct, and I have a Sanctum and I need it to become live. So a lot of times it's not even about the draw 1 card, but I just literally want to put the monsters back in my deck, and I don't have room to main deck Transmigration Prophecy. So that's why he's in there. Really good. And then I run Volcasaurus and Gaia. It's alright. Gaia was a recent addition just because there's a lot of situations where I'm like, man, I could make a Volcasaurus, but if only I could attack directly, that'd be game. And then I'm like, oh, I guess I should be running Gaia. So I put it in. It still put in work. Like I did take a couple games like that. Granted, I probably would have won those games anyways, but luck is luck. So I mean, there's always those real top decks your opponent could have. So it's nice to just finish games. That's it for the extra deck. When the news comes out, I'm probably cutting the Gaia and probably the Exciton, actually. I'll probably cut the Gaia and the Exciton first before anything else. And then, because Volcasaurus can still attack, you just can't attack directly. But anyways, onto the side deck. I run 1 DD Crow because this is my 15th card. I really just couldn't think of anything else, and so I was like, oh, DD Crow, it's good against Burning Abyss because it gets rid of the Scarm. It's good against Satella Knights if I need to sign something extra because it banishes their target. It's just a really good card, like in general. It's even good in the mirror match because they can banish the Shaddoll Fusion. And also, against a lot of rogue things that I don't really have real sides for, it can also put in work. So the 1 DD Crow. 2 Max C, not 3. I don't personally like Max C in an immense amount, but it is really good against a lot of things. So I do keep it in there. Mostly it's to get to my side deck cards more than anything else. A lot of times, depending on what I'm playing against, or if how much I think my opponent's going to go off, I will Max C just to draw 1 card, just to use it as kind of like an upstart and thin out the deck. It's going to become a lot better though once the new support comes out, and I can use it as fusion material if I need to because it is an Earth. Next card, 3 D-Fusions. Amazing card, really good in the mirror match. Though my only contention about it is in the mirror match, like I said earlier, a lot of good Shaddoll players won't leave a Shaddoll Fusion on board. But it does immediately address the issue. It's a free compulse. And also, a lot of times I've stolen a couple, not really stolen a couple games, but I've won a couple games because my opponent just didn't see it coming. Not me defusioning their monsters, but me defusioning my monsters. I've had it before where I've fusioned, sent a Moralltach and a Dragon from my hand, popped their like 1 back row because a lot of Burning Abyss players only set 1 back row because they don't want to get blown out if you blow out like all of their good traps. Summon Construct, then attacked with Construct for 28, and then defusioned my Construct, brought back the Moralltach and the Dragon, and attacked for 19 and 21. Also, if I defusion a Construct on your turn and bring back a Moralltach, I get the Moralltach pop. So it's really versatile. It's a really fun card to use. I like it a lot. And then, speaking of Burning Abyss, I run triple Chain Disappearance because chain disappearancing a tour guide or anything that they have, really, it's just completely devastating. In worst case scenario, I can just use it as like a bottomless for Dante. Then I run triple Light Imprisoning Mirror because Satella Knights scare me a little, I guess. Mostly the one that fucking burns. But it's just, I don't know, it's my setting. I personally don't like Stygian Dirge. I had Stygian Dirge in the side for a long time, and I literally just never sided it in. I don't think it's that great. There's just other things I'd rather play. I'd rather stop them from getting the monsters than stop them from using them to go into the extra deck. I run triple Emptiness for that. I run Moralltach to disrupt their plays. Like, I really don't need Stygian Dirge to sit there and lower their levels by 1 and let them think of how to play around it. I'd rather just... Here's Light Imprisoning Mirror. You don't get to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Until you get over it, and then once you get over it, we'll talk about how the game's going to go. So I like Light Imprisoning Mirror a lot. And then I run triple MST to round it off. Love me some MST. I would never run a main deck / side deck without 3 in there somewhere. These get sided in almost any game because people like to side Floodgates against Shadolls. It's also good against things like Satellarknight and Dante. I was running into the problem a lot where I would have traps. I would like draw into a trap set and my opponent would have 1 trap set and I would not be able to just use that trap stun because I just drew it. So MST is really nice to set in. This will definitely be being main decked when the next set comes out, when Pendulum Monsters start being things. You need to clear out those Pendulum Zones so they can't start doing any summoning shenanigans on you. But yeah, so that's the video. Sorry about all the interruptions. I'll do my best to kind of seamlessly patch it together if I can. Like always, if you have any questions or comments, be sure to leave them below. We're always interested to see what you guys hear. Sorry again that we haven't been around lately. We've been having a lot of technical difficulties with my internet, and we've just both been extremely busy. Brian got a new job. That's kind of real. And to be honest, we've been playing a lot of Destiny. So thanks for watching. And
real quick, we'll have Dan's Blackwing video up once he sold his vanities because he knew it was getting reprinted. So he sold vanities, so he's got to pick up secrets for the deck profile, and he needs to pick up all of his Blackwings as ultra rares from the Legendary Collection. So
yes,
once he gets around to doing that, he'll probably update his Blackwing deck. So hang tight on that. And that's it, right?
Yeah, I think that's about it. Thanks for watching, guys.